Meanwhile, live look at the Hill now. Capitol Hill, former DOJ prosecutor Leslie Wolf right now in the hot seat being deposed behind closed doors by House lawmakers. Who is she? Why is she important? Here we go. She was the assistant U.S. attorney in Delaware, served with the special prosecutor David Weiss, and my next guests say that she deviated from protocol to give special treatment to Hunter Biden and, in effect, the president, Joe Biden. IRS whistleblowers Joseph Ziegler, Gary Shapley join me now. And gentlemen, good morning to both of you. We have spoken in the past, and I don't know how you feel about yesterday, but we're about to find out. Let's talk about the evidence. Joseph, to you first. Number one, guys. So this was an email, August of 2020, apparently. All right, that's just a few months away from the election. From Leslie Wolf to IRS investigators. The subline is, political figure one is President Biden. This is what it reads. Please focus on FARA evidence only, which stands for Foreign Agents Registration Act. There should be nothing about political figure one in here, end quote. Joseph, is that a smoking gun? Or is that just one of several pieces of evidence? Where is the context, do you believe, for that email?
Yeah, so that email, I think, is super important because it's a one-off example in writing of the constant concern of following investigative leads that might lead to Joe Biden. And what I would like to say to that is the FBI agents who drafted that affidavit, they believe that they had sufficient evidence, probable cause, to support including political figure one in that affidavit. And you look at what that related to, Burisma, access to Joe Biden and access to the administration. And there was ample evidence that was included in that affidavit that supported including political figure one. That has a waterfall effect on the investigation because those emails that we're searching for might not come through to the team. So it has a down the road effect of not following normal leads that we should be following.
Okay, do you think she'll answer that question today? I'm just curious. Will she explain it?
I hope they ask her. I hope that she responds, and then I hope that they ask her that question because they need to.
They hope. You didn't say you hope, or maybe you do hope in the end. Gary, here's what I want to know from you. This is Hunter Biden on our program yesterday when he defied that subpoena.
Let me state as clearly as I can. My father was not financially involved in my business, not as a practicing lawyer, not as a board member of Burisma, not in my partnership with a Chinese private businessman, not in my investments at home nor abroad, and certainly not as an artist.
Gary, what did you think of that comment, and how do you read it now?
Well, it's just part of the shifting story from DOJ and the Biden family attorneys where at the beginning, it was, I've never talked to my son about business. That's been proven patently false by evidence and testimony we provided. Then it moved to he's not in business with him. And now we're into he's not financially connected to the businesses. So you don't have to be financially connected to a business in order to be a part of that business. And what President Biden was basically doing through Hunter Biden was allowing Hunter Biden to get these deals where there's no discernible actual product being produced. So it's really just peddling of the influence
okay,
of
Gary,
Hunter Biden's business.
Given that answer, you just said yes or no here. Can Republicans prove all that? Gary?
It's up to their investigation. Yeah, they have to conduct the investigation that they want to conduct.
I'm sorry. So you're not.
They prove it. They prove it.
So you're not sure about that question?
Yeah, I mean the Republicans they're conducting investigation in Congress, and they're the ones that are going to be able to interview the individuals they want to interview, look at the evidence they want to look at, and ultimately they decide. I don't decide. There's ample evidence that shows that President Biden was involved in Hunter Biden's businesses in some way, shape, or form. And it's not, as I said in my testimony, a former senator, vice president, president, when he's involved in the business, he's not forming mission statements and working on Excel spreadsheets. I mean, him merely sitting at a business meeting at a lunch, having water is all that Hunter Biden needed to use that influence to the gain of the Biden family.
I got to understand your answer there. Roll this, guys. Eric Trump was with Jesse last night. Watch.
Any advice for Hunter before we leave? Go testify.
Go testify.
Do what they made us do. Go testify.
They did. Last comment, Joseph, on whether or
Yeah,
not
so,
Hunter Biden does testify.
Yeah, so I mean, just like Gary and I did, we came forward in front of the committees. We did closed-door depositions to start, and we provided ample evidence to support our whistleblower claims. That at the end of the day, that's why Gary and I came forward, was to shine a light on some of the darkest corners of DOJ, that they're not treating taxpayers the same. And that should cause a concern to every single American out there, that we're not treating people the same. And that's what we need to come to.
Joseph Ziegler, Gary Shapley. We'll speak again, gentlemen. Thank you as the story rolls on. Thanks to both of you.
I'm Steve Ducey.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis.